Hey, good day, good day, everyone. Let me know in the chat if you can hear me loud and clear. It is Trade Talks with Coach Chadwin. It's a Tuesday, and usually this is where we kind of like review the charts as well as we talk about some trading related stuff and how to make it better. Now, some of you have been asking me to teach a little bit on these streams as well, and so I'll do a little bit of teaching, and hopefully that's going to get you coming back to actually join these streams more often than not. I am noticing that the Tuesday stream doesn't get as much play in terms of actual guests showing up, and that might just be the time. So if the time is awkward for you guys, you're watching it via replay or so, let me know. But really, I'd like you guys to be on the live streams. I am even thinking perhaps in future we should put this behind a actual door so that the serious people actually show up. But we'll talk some more about that in the near future as well. But if you are live with me today, please let someone else know as well in all the groups and all the chats and all the email groups that you are part of. Please let them know as well that I am live. I am going to give you some interesting little tidbits on the chart as well. This is the day the Lord has made, and we will be glad and rejoice in it. Forgive me, I've got a bit of a scratchy throat today. But I was just a few moments ago, I was at with my mom. It's my mom's birthday today. Um, or rather chatting to my mom as well. It's her birthday today, and I'm just thinking about the wonder of life in the sense that God gives you the only gift that man cannot give you, which is the gift of life. Shout out to Carla for joining me as well. Thank you for being diligent, Carla, as well, for always showing up. But God is the only one who gives you the gift of life, and what you do with that is so important. And every day, every moment, just as you sit on your charts or you sit on whatever that entertains you, whatever you like, it's so important to reevaluate your time and ask how much of what I'm doing is meaningful and purposeful. And that's what we're all about here at Kingdom Day Traders, um, and Kingdom Digital Nomads as well, and the whole entire Kingdom business that we have built and the things that are still yet to come, as we are about making sure that everyone's busy with purpose and meaningful things. So today I'm going to give you some quick recap on the charts and where we are at and why the market has shifted here and there and what is likely to come. And then from there onwards, I'm going to show you something as to why, because this is the crux of the stream, why your trades fail, like why your trades actually fail. And I want you to actually write down this hint right now, even as we just started the session. Your trades fail because you do not have higher time frame framework, and I'm going to show you a different variation of what it means to be a higher time frame framework. In fact, if we have time, I might even do a FX replay session and we'll see where we are. And I am currently back testing, so, or rather forward testing, because that's what FX replay is. And I might even just go onto my current session that I'm on and we'll kind of like play it out from there if we do have time. Okay. But that being said, let's quickly recap the weekly outlook. So if you've gotten the weekly outlook, if you are one of our students, you got the weekly outlook as well. I'm going to quickly do that recap and we'll take it from there. Let me share my screen. Okay. And in the future, we're going to have some more interesting shows for you guys, but you guys are going to have to show up as well, right? That's going to be important. This is Euro USD, but we weren't looking at that this week. So we looked at gold, and gold has hit its initial target. It has hit its initial target. I'll show you. So we looked at gold, and when we were on gold on Sunday, when I put out the actual weekly outlook, the objective was to just trade up shortly, which we like barely did there, and then to drop off into this daily gap over here, and we've done that. Now, from this point onwards, since we're on gold, let me just take a look at it further. From this point onwards, we're going to ask ourselves, where are we going to go next? And I'm looking at the actual weekly real quick. Let me see where we are on the weekly. In the weekly, we've now traded into a weekly gap as well, combined with a daily gap in over here. And we're also trading into another one. So I think we're going to see short-term consolidation between this area and that area over here at the bottom. right? We're going to see price go back and forth a little bit. And depending on which side wins, here's a gap over here. So I'll show you where that consolidation is going to happen. Price is going to chop inside these two areas. That's likely what's going to happen, right? Because we've got a gap on this side and a gap on that side, and that's a surefire way to actually get a consolidation. Then coupled to that as well, I'll just show you a little something. There is a reason we call this section in price action equilibrium, right? That's equilibrium. Shout out to whoever joined us now. And it's at equilibrium with two opposing zones that price goes into consolidation. So I want you to remember that because it's at equilibrium at two opposing zones that price goes into consolidation. And that's what we're seeing over here. So we're going to go into consolidation on gold. I would think, let me just keep looking a little higher as well. I think we only break out absent strong news. We only break out of this consolidation later in the week, possibly even next week. But I think we're going to chop around here. If should take a shot in the dark, and this is low probability conditions, we have that wick closing strongly in that range. There's another gap over there on the weekly and on the daily. I would say we likely go up and then we see further down price action. And again, this is low probability conditions. This is not high until we actually break out on either side. We're about to go into this level over here. And if we trade into that level over there, we likely see ourselves then coming down to that level over there. Right? That will be my current view of that on account of us going into consolidation. But we have to wait till the consolidation breaks. Truth be told, the best thing to do is to wait until that goes, because if that goes, we get a longer pullback down. So that's gold. Okay. I think we're definitely gonna have to do these streams at different time. We're not getting enough people showing up, but that's okay. I don't mind teaching those who are diligent and do show up. So then we looked at Apple. Apple, again, one of the slowest stocks this week. It's still in a stagnation zone. If we look up all the way up to the actual monthly, we got a draw here on liquidity to pull back down, but I don't think we're getting that now. We've pulled inside of here on the weekly. I think on the weekly, there is still room to the upside since we've gone into the gap and into the break of structure over here. And if we get some more momentum to the upside, we should see price action first go into this gap over here, and then likely after that, take out this entire high. But again, we're going to see some choppy price action here until we can actually get out above these highs. Now, I'd like to see us go above this high. If we get above that high, then there's a lot more confidence that we hit that and hit that. Right? And the reason being is that's the area. So, students, if you want to call on Monday, that's the area that went into that gap last and needs to be broken. If we get above that area, we see stronger price action. Otherwise, we pull back down another time and then start to look for price action to the upside. Yeah, daily, no clear price action, no clear direction until we climb above this level, right? So that's still the same. Then we have Bitcoin. Bitcoin has now hit our second TP over here and is pulling back. If you are a Bitcoin trader, just give me a second. If you are a Bitcoin trader, then you would have seen me call out those TPs or you asked for it. And we've gotten both of them so far. So from this point onwards, the question is, do we go higher? Do we go lower? I think that if we look at the actual daily, we saw a desire to go lower. We failed to go, a desire to go higher. And we didn't create any gaps again to go higher one more time. So there is a possibility that we get a bit of a deeper retracement in, perhaps to the end of the week. Now, if at the end of the week we create a new gap over here, right, in this area, then I think we're going to go higher up. However, for now, if I was to look at price, what price action is going to do, I'd say, and I'll show you on the daily, I'd say we likely come down some more, possibly even under this low over here, before we see higher price action again. Remember, we got all this movement from the bottom up, so that's already a good move. Don't you agree? Awesome. So then, aside from that, we got GPJPY. Now, this one changed direction, gave a little bounce, but never ever. That's why there's safety and understanding structure, right? There's safety and understanding structure because we got into that area. I'm going to show you now on the weekly. If you do listen to the actually weekly outlook, you will hear me say either we go into here or we pull back further into this red candle over here. It does look like we're going to see that red candle now. I would have loved to see it actually move up here like I drew it on. But if you actually look at your time frame, such your 4 hour, you see that it never broke to the upside. And because it didn't break to the upside over there in the new week, that was an early sign for us. We're going to see deeper retracement. So at the moment now, if you ask me where would we be going to, I know this is quite short term, but I think we're going into this level over here. At which point we watch the 4 hour. If the 4 hour turns up, we see higher price action to the upside. That's what I'd be looking at that for, right? And you might have to go over this video again just to hear what I said on that part. And then use the JPYs following the process. We had two options on Sunday. The first one being that we hit this on the black line over here, which we did, and then start falling to that level at the bottom. And we did that as well. And what was a key sign to us that that was going to happen is we saw this 4 hour break over here and then a trade back into this gap over here, which then puts us on lower price action down to the downside. And I think that's one is a quite easy, clear one to see that we got an early sign that that is changing direction and going down, and it's going down that way. So we're going to see price go all the way down, likely to at the bottom over here. So already a lot of them have been moving with the exception of JPY. Everything else has been following the plan. Is there anything else over here? Let me see. Did we do XAU? Yes, we did. Okay, so that's all of them for now. All of the actual ones that we did. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why your trades fail. And then if we have time, I'll go into a short little backtesting session if we can. So price action has a higher time frame like this. Let's say you got a breakdown, and I want you guys to follow along with me in the chat call, even if it's just you and me. Yeah, I know there's 4 people, others are hiding away. What type of trend is this? That's the first thing I need to know. What type of trend is this that you see on the screen, right? Usually you get a gap over here. You get a zone over there. And I want to take it a step further and say, perhaps in this area over here on an even higher time frame, there might be something here. Okay. Let me know. So this over here is a downtrend, being that it broke below this low. And when price is pulling up, that's a retracement in a downtrend. Okay. A retracement in a downtrend, the last break or structure on the chart determines the direction of your actual trend. And so we're getting that particular move, and there might be two areas. Let me simplify it and just say there's a gap over there. A lot of your trades fail because this one over here, and I'm going to show you this on the chart if I get a chance, is higher. I put that as a higher time frame monthly, and M. Let me put that bigger. And this is, let's say, a daily. Now we're focusing on just the gaps, right? Gaps. So what you see is you find that this might be a daily gap, but just above it sits a monthly gap. And that becomes the primary reason your trade that you take over here fails, because it does this, then does that, and then eventually does that. Why? Because you have to think in terms of magnets. Let me give you an example. If you have two magnets that you put on a table, two magnets at the same time, you put down on the table. I want you to visualize this, right? Two magnets you put down on the table, and one magnet is three times stronger than the other magnet. If you take something metal and you put it at the same distance away from those two magnets, but you only put one piece of metal at the distance in the center, but further away at the same distance. Welcome, Mildred. Away from that magnet, which magnet do you think is going to get take that actual piece of metal? The stronger one, right? The stronger one. So if we have a situation whereby, and I hope you guys appreciate this teaching, whereby there is a monthly magnet over here and there is a daily magnet over here. If I was to put an item, let's say over here, and both of these things were stagnant, or let's say more so there, because of course, if I put it at the bottom, we'll go to that one. But we're talking about if price was objectively in the center of them both. What would happen is if this is a stronger one, price would gravitate, or the metal item would gravitate to that one, right? Before it goes to this one. Or it will hit this one rather, grab that entire one and take it all that way. But the stronger magnet is going to pull price. So if you had to visualize it in your mind, this will be how you'd see it. If this one over here was a 100, let's just give it a random number here, 100 strength magnet, and this magnet was a 300 strength magnet, okay, and I put a piece of metal over here, the metal is going to go to this one every single time. Do you guys agree? Give me a 7 in the chat if you agree. Give me a 7 in the chat. It's going to go to this one every single time. And the reason it's going to go there is because it is stronger, right? Stronger. So, Mildred, I saw you sent an email saying you can't get in the training. I want you to mark these dates down. On a Tuesday at this time, we do live training, so it's not on the actual Zoom, right? So it goes over here, boom. It's going to pull over there. And that's what you have to have in context, because you want to understand, is this in the framework, is this zone in the framework of your higher time frame? So truth be told, if you wanted to trade all time frames, which I don't recommend, this is how you do it. You'd look at price on a higher time frame there, such as, let's say, a monthly, right? And then you'd look to see inside here that the weekly is also facing down. And then you'd look to see inside the weekly that the daily is also facing down. Right? You'll see where I'm going with this. And then you look on the 4 hour, and then on the 1 hour, and then on the 15 minute, then on the 5 minute, and eventually you'll get the trade right there somewhere on the 1 minute that takes you all the way down there. Right? That's literally how you can fractalize it down, but you don't want to do that. What you essentially want to do is decide which one's the stronger magnet. In other words, if there's a 300, if the daily, or rather if the monthly is now your 300 magnet and the weekly is your 100 magnet, and you're trading over here, you're going to work inside of this framework because that's the bigger magnet that has an open zone at the moment. And I'll teach you guys some more on this perhaps tomorrow. For those of you who are students, I'll teach you guys some more on this. You actually know it. I'm just framing it in a different way today. So you'll see the price wants to gravitate to one of these, but what will technically happen is if there is an unmitigated zone over there, Price will want to trade through it all to get over there to come back down. Okay, so let's do a couple of things real quick. I'm going to show you I'm going to take you to an actual live backtesting session that I was just doing right now. So this is going to be purely, I'll take you through that same process and we'll call it a day. I want you to this video not to be that long. I want you to come back to it again and kind of like review it over and over. So shout out to everybody that is on with me right now as well. Okay. And please, if you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel as well. That helps us out. We're trying to grow it. And if you can, please share to others as well, the actual channel. So thank you if you're finding value. So let me go up and let's look at this from a top-down analysis principle. All right. If I start at the monthly, do I have any gaps in this leg on the monthly? So you're going to see how I do this live now. I don't have any gaps on the leg on the monthly. Okay. So I don't have a reason to pull up because the gap is the magnet, right? The gap is the magnet. I don't have, at this point in time, I don't have a gap on the monthly. So I have no reason to pull up. On the weekly, let's look on the weekly. And I'm only looking at actual gaps, not the gap candle. I have no gaps. We had this one, but price traded into it. You're going to see something amazing, hopefully, if I am at the right part in the chart. Price traded into it and left it. So again, we have no gap on the weekly inside of this leg. Let's check the daily. If we look at the daily, and we're always just looking at up to recent price action. If there's nothing here on the higher time frame, we're not going to look back there on the higher time frame. We're looking at the recent price action. So if we look up here, let's see. Okay, this one's traded into already, so we're not going to consider that one. Okay, here's one. Okay, so that would be an example of a magnet on price. In other words, we're expecting price to be pulled at least up till that point. We also have this breaker structure over here. So that area is a sensitive area. So let's go ahead and put a magnet. Where's the actual tools over here? Now, this is FX replay, so it's not exactly the same. I don't know where it is. You know what? We're just going to use a. Oh, I just saw it. Just as I clicked on something else, I saw it. We're going to use this magnet over here. Right? That's going to be our draw on price. Now, the question is, do we have a bigger magnet higher than that? No, we don't. There was no magnet on the weekly. There was no magnet on the monthly, right? And there was no magnet, no magnet on the weekly, no magnet on the monthly. So that's the one. That's the one we want to draw to. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check where I am in terms of the 4 hour and session. Now we look at the 4 hour and we might see this. You might see, okay, breaker structure up here, probably going to pull back down again. But that's not what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we need to get to the magnet, right? We need to get to the magnet. Now, how do we get there? We can do the same from the bottom up. Firstly, we look, is there something for price to trade into? And I'm doing this live with you. Is there something for price to trade into to go there? No, there's no magnet here in price. So we know that this one's pulling it that way, but we don't know where it can come from here. Let's go lower. Let's go lower real quick and let's see. So now when I look at this particular one, do I see a magnet? Now this candle over here might be one, but I'm not going to do that today. That's a gap candle. So on the 4 hour, not really. On the 1 hour, let's see. Okay, so on the 1 hour, we've got a gap over here, right? That's a gap, and we can go to London. Let me actually play it to London. The London session. So London opens over there. So now the interesting thing is the strongest magnet we have to pull back is this gap and that particular zone. And then the stronger magnet. So the stronger magnet from the bottom up is this one. And then the strongest one on that side is that one. So if I was to take a shot at this, I would allow price to trade into this area and then look for a trade from, let's say, a 5, because that's a 1 hour. So perhaps a 5 minute or 1 minute time frame should it go down. If it just goes all the way up, then that's okay. That means a stronger magnet is playing out and we will take it from the top. But look at that. That should already be exciting to you because it showed you that price gravitated towards the strong magnet. I didn't get an entry over here because it never came into that zone. And perhaps it's because it went into a 15-minute. Nope. That was the highest one. You know what? It actually went into this last two candles to the downside over here. That's why it went up. But that magnet was going to be the price that takes us till there. Now, look at this. Let's talk about it again. You'll find tremendous value. And the people who missed this class, this little stream, is going to kick themselves like they did with the FEG gap class one. So price is now traded up into that magnet, right? And once it hits that particular point, we can now look for, okay, is there anything above? No, there's not, because we know there's nothing, there's no weekly magnet, there's no um, monthly magnet, so we only have this daily magnet. So once we go internal, we could realistically expect it to go external. But we're not just going to believe it's going to go there all the way, right? We need to now look inside of here. That's the daily, so we can go on and see what's the 4 hour doing. Okay, so we have a new 4 hour gap over here. Okay, and why are we putting that on? Because that's stronger than a 1 hour. And now we are inside of here on a 1 hour, and I got to play it to actual session, which will be New York session. And that's where we are on New York session. Okay, so I'm checking this area. So on New York session, we have it going into a daily. Okay, and when we trade from the top, if we want to trade away from that, we know that the opposition to a 1 hour is going to be the 4 hour. So we don't have a fully formed 4 hour here yet. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on a line that gives me the next 4 hour candle. Watch the space. Right? Where's the next 4 hour candle? So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I want to go in there and drop down beyond this gap over here, giving you a massive tip. If this becomes a gap, it's not a gap yet. The 4 hour still needs to close. But I want to get beyond this area before the 4 hour closes or the new 4 hour opens. So let me see. And I'm willing to take a loss here if I need to. And I'm going to target 3R. And I want you to watch these numbers at the bottom over here. So it's 254,000 at the moment because I've been backtesting for a while. But I want you to see what it turns to. So 254,000. We're going to see if we get this trade. And I'll take multiple trades here if we get the opportunity. So remember that number, write it down, 254,000. We got the 1 hour over here, so I'm going to allow the next 1 hour candle to play. Okay, now that's a bad sign already. It filled in that gap. Okay. It filled in that actual gap before it was done. So I shouldn't have actually taken that trade. I thought the 1 hour left the gap. My bad. The 1 hour did not leave a gap. The replay was not finished. I should move this forward. That's why that has happened. Let me just replay it again and fix that. But trust me on this, you're gonna find value in this when you see it. I'll explain it in a little bit more detail in class tomorrow. So if you guys want to find out more and you want to even join a class, let us know. If you want to join a live class and see what we do, let us know as well if you're new here. Okay, so there's no gap there, so that's not tradable, right? We have to actually wait until the gap appears. That's my bad for that. This thing needs to be pushed further down that line to get the correct price action. So we'll play our next candle. And we can go ahead and check our 4 hour. We've now closed in that gap. And still no price action to trade here. Okay, no gap over there, so we leave it alone. And we can go ahead and keep checking our higher time frame. This is why you have to be patient and wait as well. This is how you do proper back testing. Now I could go down all the way to the 1 minute on here, but I don't want to do that to confuse everyone. So let me throw on the next 4 hour candle so I know where the next 4 hour candle opens. That's 9. So the next one is going to be. So I have to actually go to London session the next day. Okay, now it's getting interesting. Watch this. The 1 hour, the daily gap has reacted. The 1 hour wasn't giving us any play. But now we have the daily and the 4 hour in its framework. Remember the drawing I did earlier on? I said when all your time frames are starting to align, that's when it becomes higher probability. Now we got the daily, right? The 4 hour in the framework. If we trade up in here, and we'll see that I'm going to go to a lower time frame. We trade up in there. Boom. Okay, that's nice. Let's check the 4 hour again. Oh, this is lovely. We trade up into that area. Now we go down to our 1 hour. We see that we've gone internal of our 1 hour. We should expect an external move here. If we go down to something like a 5 minute for a possible entry over here, we should get a nice entry. Let's see. That break over there, that last candle to the upside should be a good enough entry as a market execution with possibly a stop above that high and a 3R target. Now I want you to remember that number at the bottom, right? So we missed the first trade because we're patient. But if we wanted to go down to a lower time frame, we could get that as well. So what have we seen here now? We've seen that the 4 hour and the daily is in alignment, right? And the 1 hour has broken up, but is also going to be turning in alignment again because the 4 hour is stronger than the 1 hour. Now we use our execution time frame being the 5 minute over there, and we market execute our order. If you guys are finding value, please let me know in the chat. There's 4 people live with me. Please let me know in the chat if you are. This should be price should move from here. If we got it right. Now there's a breakdown and a tap back in. So even if we had limited that order, that would have been good. And let's see what we get. Okay, it's starting to move towards our TP. I want to see what happens over here. Now, if we get below this low, that would mean our 4 hour, our daily, and our 1 hour is all pointing down. This is why your trades don't play out, because you need all your time frames to align. And of course, this has to align on a 1 hour. So let's play the next 1 hour candle. Okay, well, let's just hit our TP, right? We got our first TP. Nice. Now 254,000 turns into 261,000. See that number? 254, 261. Let's keep going. Let's look again from the top. Do we have a gap higher? No. We have tapped that gap. We have nothing in this leg higher on the daily. Do we have one higher on the 4 hour? No. We've gone into there. No magnet greater. Let's see on the 1 hour. Do we have a magnet on the 1 hour? Yes, we do. We have this area over here. And we potentially have another area that could form in here if we get another 1 hour candle. We are out of session here though. So got to go to New York. Let's check back up at that 4 hours. Still nothing. On the 1 hour, we've got something over here now. I want to put my next 4 hour line on. That will be at 9 over there. So I'd like to see price go up into there before I take another trade, right? Let's play it up on the 15. And all the while, you're checking your higher time frame to see that another gap doesn't appear during that period that might throw you off. So let's see. Oh, and this one's just going down. So this would have been a nice trade if we held it even further. Yeah, there's no opportunities there. There's low probability. If you try to jump in without higher time frame context. But I don't want to keep the stream going too long. We've now come at the bottom over here. Let me clear off everything. This will be the last one. I'm still waiting for that 8s in the chat. There's no gap higher, right? Not yet. Is there gaps on the 4 hour? Yes, there are. We can draw them on, which is here and here. Those will be the magnets for price once price gets below this low. So let's play the next 4 hour out. Okay, we're below that low. Let's go to London session. We're below that low and it's London session. If we go up, let's check the daily. The daily, I have to just check where the new daily starts. 1 second. The new daily starts at midnight, New York. And so that's there. So this daily is not formed yet. It's just started. So the only one we can look at is the 4 hour. This would mean that the 4 hour turns in a 15-minute. Let's do this together. We could literally just wait until this 15-minute break somewhere here. Let's see. It's about to break. This would be an example of a gap candle. Now, what are you doing? You're trading towards that magnet. The gaps are magnets. Right? Don't say we don't give you value. One of the things we want to do for everyone on our streams is give you exceptional value so that you can see what it looks like to trade actually live. And this is as good as it gets as trading live. FX replay can't be faked. So 261,000. Higher time frame gaps are strong. Absolutely, can caller. So look at this. We know that on the 4 hour there are gaps on the top pulling price action. We've just taken a low. There's magnets over there, right? Pulling price action with a 15-minute that's turned up, and the daily is not yet fully formed, so we can't use the daily gap. The daily candle is still busy being formed. So I'm going to draw on another magnet here, and hopefully this works out, but we'll see. Right, we'll see. So that will be our magnet over there, maybe even that one as well. We have two options here. We can get in. In fact, I'm going to attempt to take both these trades. I'll draw on that gap. That's the one that will push us up. Let's see if there's two trades here. I'm going to take one on the 15 and try and catch one on the 1 minute as well. So we could limit order this. I won't market execute that because we went higher. Okay, we are in it on the next candle, but we still need to turn back into it. Ideally on a red. Okay, there we go. On a red candle into that gap candle. Let's see if we can catch it on the 1 minute. So we are in that trade. Look at the numbers at the bottom, 262 now. We are inside of that trade on the actual 15-minute chart, but we shall attempt to catch that same trade. Let's take off that because we are in the trade on the actual 1 minute chart. Let's see. And I'll wait. Okay, we have a break up above this. And that over there is a gap candle as well. So my first attempt will be here, but I could get stopped out. If I do get stopped out, we'll just take the next one as well. I'm just going to go for 3R. So we are in the 15-minute one, but we're going to attempt to take this one as well. And Carly, you let me know if you guys want me to do this tomorrow in class as well, show you how we actually work through these time frames, then you let me know, right? And Mildred as well, you let me know. So this will be like the first attempt that I would take. We are in on the 15-minute. Now, it could just run away from us completely because the actual time frame that corresponds has already been taken. So I'll give this a shot here. Let's see. Okay, we tagged in. Again, there's no actual gap aside from this gap candle in here. So we could go lower. If we do go lower, I will attempt to take it again, right? You have to give yourself the chances, the lost chances in this situation. Let's see. Okay, that looks a bit better. Still not out of the woods. Now, this is a good sign. When it starts to look like it makes momentum, if the next candle produces a gap, then we're probably in the World Cup in terms of this working. Okay, so here's something. We're getting a gap over here. That's good. Now that's a strong pullback. So we're not out of the woods just yet. Okay, that's better. Okay, still there. That's a lot better. Okay, here we go. This is what we want to see. We want to see gaps being produced on the way to our actual take profit, which is there. Okay, first take profit hit $262,000 becomes $272,000, but we still have one TP above. Okay, that's really far. That's really far. What did I get in on? A 15-minute? Okay, no, it's not too far. It's pulling up to that gap. My bad. Let's see. Can we take another trade here is the question. That's the 15-minute. We don't have a new gap or gap candle in this leg, so not yet. Still nothing. But we're going there. Look at this, 262 becoming 273. If we get a gap inside a year, there might be another. Okay. Here we might be able to take another trade. So our 15-minute one is still running. This is a strong pullback, though. However, we're trading towards that one. This is not where we want to see it. Remember Monday's class, guys? For those call us, you're referencing it. Monday said that this happens at a specific place, at which this is not that specific place. That is the specific place. So with that being said, I'm going to try to take another 1-minute trade over there. Let's see. He's close to end of session there. So, okay, boom, in. Let's see. Price has to turn up. Not yet. Still not yet. Okay, let's see. Starting to get higher price action here. Not yet. I need to see that gap appear. Let's check at 15 minutes if we're still inside of it. We're still inside of that gap until this low is taken. If that low is not taken, then we can still look for 1-minute trade. Let's see. Okay. If we get above that high, we did get above that high. This here would be a gap candle. We get there, stop here. Again, we might go lower. We take the stop and we just trade higher again. 3 or let me just check my other time frames. Okay, so here's something risky. Notice I'm getting in on a 15-minute gap, but there is a 1-hour gap now starting to form. It's not done, starting to form below. That's what we call gap risk. Might pull lower in and then go higher up again. But then if it does pull lower, I'll just take that trade as well. So let's see. You're seeing my thought pattern right live. Please tell everybody to go and rewatch this particular session. Oh no, you're just leaving without coming back. That's crazy. Okay, now I have to check the 1 hour because. Okay, when does that 1 hour close? Let me see. The 1 hour closes over here. So I still have time to get in that trade before the 1 hour closes. Okay, now the 1 hour closes. This trade becomes a lot less risky now. I'm still going to take it, but it becomes a lot less risky. A lot more risky because the 1 hour had closed and left a gap behind price. If it goes lower, I'll take another one up. But now it becomes a lot more risky. And now it becomes a lot less risky because it just started going in my favor. Okay, spoke too soon. One more gap there. Okay, we can get stopped out. That's okay. We'll take the next one. And I'll show you. This is what you do. Remember, we're still up. We're up from 200 and what's it, 54. Price turns up. Let's see if we're in that 1 hour gap. Not yet. We're not in the 1 hour gap. I'd like to see us go in there before I take the trade. If we just go up, we'll stay in our original 15-minute one. Yeah. It looks like we can just get stopped out. Just took us out over there. I'm not going to take a trade here because that's not a high probability. I'd rather want us to come down to the 1 hour, which if we don't come to this gap, we'll just hold our original 15-minute all the way to TP. But if we do, bang. Now that's what I want to see. If we come over here and we turn up on a 5-minute, This is a difficult one because there's another gap at the bottom over here. I'm going to keep this particular trade open because we might get to break even and go back up again. So that's okay. Let's see exactly break even. Let me get that on a 5-minute and see if we can get that trade up. Okay. So we've gone up above these candles over here. It's not really a high. Okay, this will be nice. Get above that. Then we take a trade. Or even now above this. This will be the last one for the night. Okay, we above that. We have that gap candle there. It's not, I can't really take 1 year because it's not in the leg. I have to wait for a little bit higher. Oh, don't you dare come and stop me out at the bottom. We'll still be up on the day. Okay. This looks better. And we could likely do that. That's a gap candle there. And over here. Now, historically, the loss trade, I think, is always a loss, right? But we will still see. Same thing, same magnet in place. Now it's the 1 hour pushing us up to that same magnet, the higher time frame magnet. We could market execute that one there. Okay, there we get the gap, full on gap. That's nice. Trade into it. Let's move up from here. Okay, lovely. That's what I want to see. More gaps as price leaves. We shouldn't come back down now. Are you kidding me? And we did. That means we produced a higher time frame one over here. Let me see. Yes, we did. We produced a 4-hour gap over there. My bad. Didn't see it appear. But I'm going to take you with less speed through this tomorrow. However, even if you look at all of this, we started at 254,000 and finished at 261,000. And that's with taking that loss right there. So I'm not going to take this any longer. However, what I am going to say is if I did fractalize it even further down to a lower time frame, such as going inside of a year on a 1 hour, breaking up on the initial 15-minute, and then taking a 1-minute trade out of there, we could have caught that move up till there. What I did miss is I was looking at the 1 hour and the 15-minute, but forgetting to look that also here we produced a new gap on the 4 hour on our way up there. Okay, so the lesson still remains the same. The reason that we fail is that we are not in context. When I drew the magnet here, that's because the highest one was a 4 hour there, but when price left further out of the consolidation, it produced one right there. And so that's why price went down. So technically speaking, if all we did was then go down to the 1 hour over here, see it come inside of there, take a 5-minute out of that actual area to the downside, which happens over here with a stop of above there, we'd catch this whole move down all the way down to the bottom. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for that. I will do it a little slower tomorrow in class and show you how this all plays out. But you can see we read this price action step by step. I really don't want to make this much longer than now, so I'm going to call it quits here, even though we ended on a loss. Not ended on a loss, but ended the last trade as a loss. Still up. What is that? Almost $7,000 in this little session. So that's how you do the back testing. And on tomorrow's class, I'll show you how to make sure that you're within that actual framework that you trade. Okay, thank you, everybody. You guys be blessed on purpose. I shall see you guys tomorrow. This has been Technical Tuesday or Trade Talks Tuesday, whatever you remember it as. And it's been Coach Chadwin. Reach out to us, like and subscribe on our channel. Please leave a comment. We will get back to you with our trading opportunities that are coming up in the very close near future. Thank you, everyone.